Hey, how's everybody doing today? My name is Jenny. I talk about random things that pop into my head. You do not have to agree with everything that I say, but I do ask that if you make a comment that you keep it polite. So, I just found out that the U.S. Mint is going to stop making pennies when they run out of supplies. So they're projecting that early next year, 2026, they'll no longer be making pennies. And the reason for it is because pennies cost more to make than what their value is. And you know, it's not really the copper, it's the zinc. There's more zinc than copper in a penny. But my thoughts on it are a couple things. So they've been saying this for years and years, and it's just like finally now it sounds like they're starting to take action on it. And it really isn't something that's been approved by Congress. It actually has to be approved by Congress, but the Mint has decided that they're just not going to order more supplies needed to make pennies. Which makes me think that it's probably going to pass Congress. And apparently Canada has stopped making pennies as well. And there has been an increase in consumers' dollars that have been spent because of that. But they're saying that the amount of money that people have to spend because they don't have pennies anymore versus the cost for them to make pennies is, you know, the one outweighs the other. Plus, the other thing that I've heard about this, which makes sense, is that pennies will still be legal tender, but you know what's going to happen is people are already hoarding change. And so I guess I have a question. Is the value of a penny going to increase, especially as they, you know, diminish out of circulation? Because eventually they're gonna wear out, or they're gonna get lost, or, you know, like I said, people are gonna hoard them. So is the value of a penny going to, for collectors' purposes, I guess is what I should say, is that going to go up? You know, it's just interesting to me. And then the other thing that they're talking about, you know, in a cash situation, we've been programmed both as sellers and buyers. They say, and I've been questioning this myself, actually, particularly since I've been selling things online. Not so much when I was working physical retail, but you know, selling things online, that they say that prices that end with a 9 are more appealing to customers. And so that's why in the stores you often see things priced at like $1.99 instead of $2, or, you know, things like that. Those numbers are deliberate. And I just really wonder how much that 99 has a psychological effect on people's buying. Because when I look at something that's $1.99, I think, oh, it's $2. You know, that's what we do. We round up. Most of us do. You know, so we're not thinking, oh, I'm saving a penny. And maybe because a penny's become so, you know, not obsolete, but just, it doesn't really have the value that it once had. People throw pennies all the time, you know, like a penny's nothing to us anymore. But then, you know, they're saying, well, just round it up 1 cent. Okay, but you know, we still want to be competitive, right? In the marketplace. What if you rounded it down 4 cents? Because if you're going to round it up 1 cent to make it an even square number, because of that lost penny, then what's the difference of rounding it down 4 cents to make a sale? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what I don't know. I'm just speculating on this. I don't know how competitive things are. But what I do find myself doing, particularly online, okay, whereas it's all electronic payments anyway, it doesn't really make a difference, but it is fractions of a dollar, right? When I'm reviewing my inventory and revamping it, or whatever you want to call it, I may do price adjustments down. And sometimes I very rarely do 99. Usually I'll do like 95 or 97. And, see things like that. You can't do 97 anymore, 98, 94, 96, or any form of anything between, 1 and 5 or 5 and 10, right? So I just, it just doesn't seem like such a big deal anymore. It's kind of the end of an era almost for me. And I do wonder, like, as far as the value of the actual coin itself in the collector world, because this is something that I'm interested in, and I don't know if you are or not. Excuse me. What is the effect going to be on that for something that we, almost considered nothing? Or 1 cent above nothing. What impact is that going to have? And where are we going to go as far as our commerce goes? Buying and selling. Are we going to just completely keep it in the fives now, 5-cent increments? Or are we just going to go to round dollars now? Is it going to be? I don't think so. I mean, I think if that was the case, you'd be silly to do that. It'd be to your advantage to knock it down a couple cents than to knock it up a couple cents. To me, as somebody who wants to make a sale, I'll take a 4-cent loss. If I'm going to sell something, and it's not really a loss, because if I'm taking a quote 4-cent loss, something's wrong, okay? Overall. Excuse me, by the way, I have this little cough. I recently was on an airplane and caught a cold. It's not COVID. But it's just an interesting thing. They've been talking about it since I was a kid, or a young adult. And it's finally coming to fruition. And I have a feeling we're going to hear within the excuse me, I'm so sorry about the coughing. It may take more than a year for this to come to actual pass, but I'm pretty sure that if the mint has decided that they're just not going to order penny materials anymore, it's probably going to pass, and it seems like President Trump is in favor of it. And if it saves the country money, then it saves the country money. I mean, it seems kind of silly to be making something when they're going at like a 3-cent loss on every single penny. That's 3 times. That's actually a bigger loss than me lowering my price by 4 cents. So, I don't know. It's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Something kind of light to talk about today. Anyway, I will talk to you later. Bye.